Hi guys, welcome back. It's your host Craig, and today we're going to be talking about DayZ. I know a lot of you may already know what DayZ is, but just a quick synopsis for people. Originally, it was an Arma 2 mod back around the mid 2012 when it released, and it was probably one of the biggest survival game mods at the time. Now, at Bohemian Interactive, who published and developed the game, have made it a standalone version for the PC, of course, and now recently released on console, Xbox receiving it first, while only about 3 weeks ago PS4 got its turn. So, with that in mind, me and the team have been testing it over the last 3 weeks, getting used to the controls, playing it, and seeing what it's like. I'm gonna be honest in certain cases that I want to do an honest review about this. The performance is a bit lackluster in my opinion. In regards of tearing and rendering and stuff like that, a lot needs to be improved upon. I'm on a PlayStation Pro, so I don't know how it would differ from a PS4 base console. But as far as I tell, apart from the occasional lag spikes and the rendering distance and issues, and going to maybe one of the bigger cities, it kind of gets a bit rough on your system. But that's progress. Hopefully with the upcoming updates and fixes to the console version and the PC version as well, we can see a lot more of improvement based updates and fixes as well. And of course, with glitches and bugs. Yes, this game does have glitches, I'm going to be honest there. One of my particular favorite ones is called Meatballing. And it's happened to me once or twice, or a few people on my team, where you just turn into a floating backpack. And one of the downfalls of that kind of glitch is that you lose your hitbox completely. Fortunately enough, it's very rare I get to see that glitch happen, but I kind of like it to be gone at one point in the future. So, with that in mind, we tend to do different kind of actions or animations to kind of get us back out of that kind of glitch. Also, with one on the console at least, there is a bit of a duping problem where people are able to duplicate weapons, ammo, and stuff like that on certain occasions. I kind of hope that will disappear at a certain point as well. Generally, about this game, we got to try it out and play it and stuff like that, and we wanted to do a lengthy review of the game ourselves, playing it by ourselves or with people or building up supplies and loot, generally getting feedback from the team about this game, basically DayZ on the console finally. Overall, it's been met with some good reviews from the team, outside of our team, of people who are playing it as well. Some have their frustrations with it, which is understandable, I do as well. But generally, this is my opinion and my opinion alone. Of course, it won't, you can let a factor in if you do get the game or not. It just, here's some of my pros and cons about the game. Pros wise, the game is fun to play in a group. There is a lot of walking involved that can get annoying, but thankfully enough, if you have a group, you kind of have that idle chatter among yourselves when you're going to new positions, and also the possibility of meeting players in the open as well and engaging in firefights. If you're like a fresh spawn off the beach, I wouldn't highly recommend you going right into a firefight, because you probably A, won't have a gun, or B, will have a melee weapon or nothing at all. And there are bandit groups in this kind of game, people who are filled by greed and bloodlust, who will hunt you down for the easiest convenience of getting your fresh apple or can of beans off you, and even a bit of water. So with that in mind, we tend to stick away from people in our group as well, unless we know them or they seem friendly enough to communicate. Even then, with communications with random survivors on the island of Trinaris, we kind of have keep you at arm's length at first until we kind of gain that trust between each other. A good example I had with playing DayZ as a character, one of my characters, one of my first characters, who unfortunately met his fate in the on his way to Balota Airport, was basically, I call him the Hermit of Electro. He used to, I'd scavenge the town every day and on a different server and stuff like that, and then go further out and come back to Electro to help fresh players on their journey to leveling up and not leveling up, getting geared up and ready to leave Electro and go further inland. So I met quite a few interesting people. Some people had to meet the end of my shotgun basically, because my only real request would be to put your weapon on your back and stay in surrender motion and talk. There would be my dynamics there, but some people would try, would do that, and then they would try to take out their weapon and shoot me while I'm looking at something else. They met the end of my shotgun, unfortunately, that. But I did do the nice thing. I took what I needed off their bodies and then buried them. A bit of respect there. There's a lot of really interesting mechanics that I had to learn over time. Other examples of mechanics where as long as when your player survives more, you'll get more of a gritty look and a beard and scars from battle. You can shave the beard off, but if you've gotten into too many battles, it kind of shows that your character is kind of a worry veteran kind of look. or a fresh spawn. It's to talk to fresh people and introduce them, but also introduce kind of different tactics as well. For the bandits, you can pretend to be a fresh spawn and then lure a fresh spawn or a mid-level player into an ambush and take his stuff, which unfortunately that would be a bit of a bad case, but that comes with traveling Shanaris and trusting people. It's about trust and community at the end of the day. Your community can either be in a party chat of like 8 people, and it's a group that mainly go around looting and killing anyone on sight because they've learned from a long existence of playing themselves. You know, with this game, having bigger numbers against other people is a good deterrent to keep them away from you. So, with that in mind, if you are going to play this game as a lone wolf, I highly suggest you think of a stratagem or a tactic that you know that works, know where to get yourself geared up, and move on from there. But in all honesty, looking at the game and playing it for the last 3 weeks has been a marvelous thing. Like, I've never expected something this in depth on console to come out. It may have came out in 2012, and it's not really well received in a lot of places. But you know, overall for us console players, at least, it's kind of a nice change in what we usually play. I know here on the channel we do a lot of immersion videos with, i.e. Ghost Recon and stuff like that and other games, but this one kind of gives us a chance to be more casual ourselves and then go into strategy mode, which is where we could be sitting down by a campfire inside of a building, or illuminating the room by glow sticks and having a chat and talking about what we were doing today in the game. And then as soon as we hear a gunshot or someone aggravating the local wildlife, i.e. the zombies, or moving around our building and trying to get in, we go into strategy mode, which is where we set up, get secure, get eyes on the targets, knock out our lights, and try to basically sort out the situation. If it's a point we can communicate and negotiate with the person, bring them in, if they're a fresh spawn player with no weapons or ammo or food, we try help them out as much as possible, even get them loaded up on gear and go our separate ways after that. Or we bring them into our group and scavenge our entire playtime with them and then log out and leave. But with that, there is consequences. There are those people who have learned like team tactics and strategy as well as guerrilla warfare. One example from a group of friends of mine, which are known as Task Force 591, the leader and someone else were actually ambushed the other day by a group of 6 or 7 people who kind of flanked them on kind of both sides kind of thing, which is unfortunate. It's frustrating as well, but the idea of this game is to have confidence. You may lose a high level player or a long living character, I should say, but at the end of the day, it's about rebuilding your character and doing it differently each time. There's multiple, like infinite amount of ways how you can go about this, how you get rearmed and go after these people, or even then, as I said, you go after these people as well if you want. If you know their names and you know they're still on the server, you could probably find them based on their description and looks, because there's very unique looking people in this game. And for us anyway, we even wear everything from armbands to tell who's who and who's friendly. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Like in-depth crafting materials and stuff like that, fire making, food preparation, scavenging, supplies, water, food for even like food to keep yourself, carbs, all that kind of stuff, and hydration level as well. Even the cold and the weather takes effect on your character to the point where you can get sick, catch a cold. Drinking dirty water or stale water or stagnated water, I should say, properly can cause a bacterial infection where your character occasionally throws up and loses hydration because of that, and food as well, because you're throwing up all the energy you need to move around. Is very in depth, to the point of where we even have a team medic who has most of our painkillers, bandages, and antibiotics on our team to make sure that we're all kept healthy and fit. And of course, going into different buildings as well, there's different stratagems as well, where we go room clearing and breaching buildings and making sure they're clear. We move as a squad, but of course you can kill members of your own squad. That's how realistic in the sense of this game is. It's truly one of these games where team communication and coordination are important. If you're a lone wolf, you don't really have to bother about that, or as I call them, the Vasilis of the world, with their Mosin and ghillie suits in the hills. But it really depends on how you do as a team or as a solo player. This game is in depth. This game is unforgiving. There's permadeath. There's a survival aesthetic to it. Everything factors in. And even then, like, it's not a scripted kind of thing, or like in our traditional kind of game where, any choice has a consequence. If you decide to stay in a server, you might have the chance of re-meeting the person you killed very quickly to get his stuff, and they might be out for revenge if they know what you look like. So changing of appearance is also helpful with equipment and clothing. and to the point where you might not actually have to go back into a city or a major town, or even well, you always go back to the military bases, which are a lot of fun. I have a good story about an engagement that we had, and where I saw RTC Blair basically light up someone and take him for everything he's worth. So with that in mind, it's all about team communication and trust, developing your survival skills and stuff like that, which, there's no skill bar or perk system. It's generally something you learn from other players, or you look up online on how to do certain things. There's no problem with looking up on how to make a campfire and stuff like that, but if you meet more experienced players than yourself, it's always good to ask questions, and hopefully they're friendly enough to bring you into their group, and also kind of bring you into their crew or something like that, their group, or even make friends out of this, and then you have someone to continue the game with. Overall, in regards of like survival and stuff like that, navigation's important. You can use something called the I Survive app, which you can do in real time, mark up where your position could be by road signs and stuff like that, and the rest of your team and a group can see where you are, and then you can meet someone in the middle. But the only thing is, that's only where your position is. It doesn't tell you which north, east, south, or west. You have to manually do that in your own time. Look at the map and then look at landmarks nearby you, and hopefully you can make it into that direction. Having a compass or an orienteering compass, or even using the stars, is very, very good. It's very in-depth detail there, where you can actually get an accurate star reading of which direction you're in at nighttime, or even like using the sun to tell you where where east and west is. And then a little tip as well: all flares, if you drop them, they point north, so that's a good way to have a navigation as well if you don't know exactly where you are. In retrospect of that, like, you could do this pretty easily and enjoy yourself while playing. And you could do it by yourself or in a group, or even have a trade or a role in the world. Like, you can be anyone you want to be in this world. You can be that roaming trading bard, or uh, a weary traveler who sells medical supplies, like a trader, or a wasteland medic or a doctor, or a rifleman or a hitman or a bodyguard, or a hunter, a bounty hunter as well. A lot of people like doing that as well, which is important. It's about the immersion factor for me, at least, and hopefully my team as well. They're, a lot of them enjoy the game for certain aspects of it. We have fun doing it. We can be casual and tactical at the same time, which is great. And we hope to show more of that on the channel, of course. If you want to see more of it after watching this review a bit more at this point, remember to hit the like button, and also leave a comment down below on what you would like to see in the game in the future, because we do have a wish list of things we'd like to see. But hopefully now with July next month is, July next month is the update for this game, which is going to add new weapons, new gear, new kind of fixes that are desperately needed as well. And hopefully Bohemia Interactive gets on them a lot quicker as well, and hopefully we won't be plagued as badly as before. But overall, I suppose I should talk about the price of the game. It's €50 for us. Is it really worth the price? For me, as well as me as a team, and working with my team and stuff like that, and enjoying ourselves, I enjoy this game without a doubt. It's great fun, and I think it may be worth the money, but it totally depends on you. You can wait for it to go on sale or drop in price, or not pick it up at all and just watch people online play it. At the end of the day, I'm not here to make you buy the game or anything like that. I'm just giving you my opinion. It's like, get a different opinion, a second opinion before you buy something. Overall, for me anyway, I hope in the future the release of private servers, which I hope to open up for my community, so you guys can come in and play with us and just build in a world where you can do it. We plan a lot of big things for that, and we're hoping that the admin kind of role and like map placement role as well, we can do some stuff with that and help build up an idea that we have, which I'll call Project Citadel at the moment, but you'll guys find out about that in the future. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Overall, I give this game like a 6.5, maybe 7 out of 10. Because just for me anyway, that's my personal score for it, because that's how much I enjoy it. If you do if you do get the game, tell us down in the comment section down below. Join our Discord. Also join this DayZ Discord as well for any tips and tips and tricks and stuff like that, and advice, and meeting different community members as well down below as well. They're a great community to talk to. I had a great time talking to them as well. I learned a lot from them, and primarily I learned a lot from RTC Sam, who out of nowhere became a master of this game. Like, it was scary how well he got in depth in this game and how good he is at it. But yeah, that's pretty much it, folks. Overall, it's a 6.5 or 7 out of 10 for me at least, and it's quite an enjoyable experience when it doesn't want to crap out on you. But of course, you put your dollar where your mouth is. You choose what you want to do with it as well. That's just my based opinion. If I had to end this review on something, I'll tell you a quick story about when me, Blair, Tech, and Clay went to the Northwest Airfield. Northwest Airfield. And Licky, I believe, as well. They're from a different task force. They're very good guys. And we met up with Blair and we started to move around the map and start gathering up. I believe Sam was there with us as well. Apologies, I can't remember who was there right now. It's very early. It's late afternoon right now while I'm recording this. And we basically got into a minor engagement. There was about 4 or 5 of us on the team. We were just scavenging. We didn't want to engage anyone. If they engaged us, we'd fire back. But they did fire back at us first, so we followed our rules of engagement where we, only fire back when fire upon. There was 2 guys, possibly the third one as well. We're not too sure about that because we got one of them at least. That was Blair's kill in the middle of the barracks, but we kind of separated into a flanking maneuver and stuff like that in different groups, and we had basically clear comms and communications and call-outs and tactics used. Like, we flanked, we had like Overwatch in buildings, and it was just a great experience. And that was one of the most intense experiences as well. And one minor intense experience is where me and Sam were by ourselves in the Northwest Airfield, and at the point I got knocked unconscious by the undead and was being slowly beaten to death while they were killing me. Sam came in with his AK and saved me, but I woke up from being unconscious, but I was heavily wounded. My weapon was ruined, my clothes were ruined, and clothes and weapons really matter. You need to have good maintenance on them as well, with either duct tape or gun cleaning kits, and so on and so forth. If you want to see how that kind of stuff works, I can do that as a video if you like, but it totally depends on you folks. That's pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, I hope you enjoyed the review, and I hope it gives you something to think about. But overall, if you do end up joining DayZ, I will personally welcome you as well. And if we ever have games going and stuff like that on our Discord, or you're in an area that we can meet up at with the community task force DayZ group on I Survive, we'll have that open to the public as well, so you guys can get an idea where you can go to get loot, meet up with people, and so on and so forth. So remember to join our Discord, and remember to join the DayZ Discord I have down there as well. And that's pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoy yourselves, and we'll see you next time on RTC. See you guys. Have a good one.